according to the cloud. Remember, someone always remind me that cloud over there, you got to see it. If you ever don't see it, interrupt. Don't even raise your hand. Just say, Rabbi Michalowicz, you forgot to record. Okay, permission. Just, or maybe send me one of those. What do you call it? Those messages. If you send me a message, that's the same thing. So that's just as good. Okay. So now let us share the screen and see what we're going to share over here. We got a few interesting things. I'm going to share the desktop. And now that I'm sharing the desktop, okay, do you see a bunch of words right in the middle over here? Okay, amazing. And then you see a little picture behind it? Yeah. So, okay, good. So I got everything set up. Okay, this week we start Parshas Va'era. Okay, now who can tell me how do we spell Va'era? What's the first letter? Okay, Ariella, what's the first letter?
Vav.
Bingo. Okay, what's the next letter? Eitan. You got to unmute. I'm sorry?
Yud.
Yud, you're mixing it up with another parsha. It's Va'era, not Vayera. There is another parsha like that. What's the next letter we're looking for? Okay, Ellie? Unmute.
Aleph.
Aleph, bingo. Okay, what's the next letter? Okay, from the Atlas group.
Resh.
Resh. Where's my Resh? Bingo. One more to go. One more to go. Okay, Adina or Ariella, I don't know who's who. Don't, please forgive me.
Hey.
Hey is a great guess, but it's not right. So let's see if somebody make another great guess. I'm going back and forth to see. Okay, Shira, what's the letter?
Aleph.
Aleph. Amazing. Let's see where the Aleph is. Oop, what happened? How come it didn't come out? There it is. Parshas Va'era. And Va'era means I appeared. Hashem is telling Moshe I appeared. Now, here's the first question we're going to talk about. Can somebody read this from me if they're good at reading English? Okay, anybody want to read it there? Eitan, just read it. Just read it.
When did Hashem begin to save the Jews? First
Yeah.
Makkah, second Makkah, third Makkah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I only need the first line. You really read great. Let's just focus on the first line. Excellent, excellent. Okay, when did Hashem begin to save the Jews? Now, that's a tricky question. Now, what do you think? When did Hashem begin to save the Jews? Okay. Ariella, Dina, Avi, I don't know who's who.
Was it when he started bringing the MAKOS?
Was it when he started bringing the MAKOS? That's a good answer, but that's just after the beginning to save. So we just got to go one step before that. Okay, Ellie, what do you think? Ellie, unmute yourself.
When Moshe asked Paul to let the Jews.
When Moshe asked Paro to let the Jews go, you know what? That's a little bit before when Hashem began to save. So you guys are giving me like the two sides. You're very, very close. When Moshe says to Paro, let the Jewish people go, it was almost, but not quite. And then when the MAKOS started, that was also, but there was something in between that. Something in between that. Yes, Atlas kids.
When Hashem talked to Moshe by the burning bush.
When Hashem talked to Moshe by the burning bush, that was a little bit earlier than that. See, I told you it's a tricky question. You're coming up with smart answers, but this is a tricky question. You know what? I think most grown-ups don't know the answer to this. Okay, let's see who else. Okay, again, it's the Ariella Adina group here.
Is it when Hashem said like to him, go say to Paro to let the Jews go?
That's awfully close as well. Whoop-a. 1 second. But that's not the correct answer either. Oh, it's such a tricky, hard question. How come Rebbe asked such a hard question? Well, I see the answer starting to come up. Let's see what the answer is. When the Jews knew I didn't spell it right. Could not. Okay, who's going to read the answer? Okay, Shira.
When the Jews knew that they could not save themselves.
Now, I bet you don't understand what I mean over there. Let me explain to you. You know, a lot of times, you know, a long time ago, over 230 years ago, there were people who lived in the land of America, and they were bossed around by the British. And you know what? They said, we don't want the British to be rulers over us. We want to be our own people. So what did they do? They made a revolution. You know what a revolution is? You say, we're not going to listen to you. We're going to make our own country. And there was brave people who were fighting, and they made their own country. But, you know, sometimes you make your own country, and then sometimes people destroy your country. But when Hashem saves people, especially Jewish people, here's a very important rule to know. You know, when Hashem helps people, when they know that nobody can help them but Hashem. You see, the Jewish people were crying out, and Moshe comes along, and Moshe says, I'm coming on behalf of Hashem, and he goes to Paro and says, Paro, let the Jewish people go. And Paro says, no, I'm going to make it worse. And when Moshe went, a lot of people thought, oh, Moshe's a good leader. Moshe's going to get us out. And Hashem said, no, Moshe is a good leader, but I don't want people to think that Moshe was the one who gets them out. I want them to know that it's Hashem who gets them out. And you know when Hashem saves you is when you give up all hope that somebody else can help you. And then when you know only Hashem can help you. And that's what Moshe said at the end of last week's Parshas. Remember I said, Moshe said, why did you make things worse when I came? And what did Hashem answer? He said, now you're going to see what I'm going to do. Which means now that you've all given up hope and nobody could do anything to save themselves, Hashem says, now I'm going to show you that I'm the one who loves you and I'm the one who's going to help you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you know what the answer was. So you were right. You kind of said, well, you know, Paro made it worse for everybody. That's true. It helped get us to this point. But it got to get to the point where the Jews said, there's no way we can get out. And now, when it got to that point, when Moshe said, why did you do this? Hashem says, now you're going to see. Okay, do you understand that answer? Raise your hand if you think you understand that answer. Okay, so if you think you understand this answer, then you have to explain the next thing. Why does Hashem do it that way? Why does Hashem do it that way? Why doesn't Hashem let us do it by ourselves? Anybody got a smart answer for that? That's a really, if you know the answer, you're really a smart guy. Okay, Eitan, give it a try. Give it a try, Eitan. It's a hard question.
Because Hashem, when the Jews thought they could just have a leader, they had faith in themselves for a rather thing. Hashem wanted to show them that he's the master and he could do anything and he's the one that brought them out.
Excellent, excellent. You got it almost 100%. That was really good. How old are you? 7, 8?
8.
8 for an 8-year-old. That was a really great answer. Really great answer. So that's the point, to know that whenever you're in trouble, of course you're going to try on your own to get out of trouble. Let's say chas v'sholom, somebody has corona, chas v'sholom, and they're very sick. Of course, you're going to go to a doctor. Of course, you're going to go to a hospital. But it's not the doctor alone or the hospital is going to make you better. It's only who? Hashem. So in this time when the Jews get saved from the worst of the worst, Hashem says, I want you always to know that when you're ever in big, big trouble, and even if the doctors would chas v'shalom say, we can't help you, there's no hope for you, you have to say, you know what? Now I know Hashem can start with the big helping. That's a big, 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 big lesson. Okay, now, Moshe, and you can see it was when Moshe comes to the Jewish people the second time in this parsha to say that Hashem's going to take you out. You know what the Jewish people said? It's not going to be. It's not going to be. We can't listen anymore. I can hardly breathe. I'm working so hard. They're making me work so hard. I can't even hear what you're saying. And Hashem says, now we're going to see what's going to happen. And now what we're going to do for the whole week, Amir Tzashem, we are going to look at, let's see, can you see the whole thing? The 10 plagues, Hashem's war against Egypt. That's what we're going to talk about this week. Look at those Egyptians. Boy, it must be pretty hot over there. Now, what we're going to do, and depending on how old you are, I know there's younger kids, there's older kids. So I want you to know, I'm going to give everybody a chance, and I'm going to email out to you. Let's see if I can find it here. Give me a second. I'm going to email to you one chart that you could fill it out with all the plagues. And that gives you some things you could write in your own words. That's one thing I got. And I got another one. No, not that one. I got another one somewhere here. Where are you? Okay, anyway, is it this one? Yes. We're going to have the 10 MAKOS chart for the smart ones. If you could tell me the name of the Makkah, some information, was Paro warned? All these questions, you're going to write down the page. This is for smarter kids, okay? This is like a little bit harder, but if you listen well, you could fill it out, and it's a great thing to remember. But you'll have a choice. If you want it, I'll send it out to those. I don't know everybody's email address. The people who are members in my shul, I know their email address. Those that aren't, you're welcome to be in the class. We love you. But I don't have your email address. You have to send me what it is. And you get a choice, what you want to fill out. But anyway, we're going to start Hashem's war against the Mitzrim and how Hashem fought this war against the Mitzrim. So let's start with the first Makkah. I'm sure everybody knows the name of the first Makkah, right? I don't have to tell you. Oh, there it is. That's what it's called. Now, what do we call it in Lashon HaKodesh, in the holy tongue? What do we call it? Okay, let's see. I'm trying to look around. I don't have anybody here. Yoni, we're glad you're here. I don't know if you're raising your hand because you're in a position that if you would be raising your hand, I can't see it. So you'd have to move over if you're raising your hand. You don't have to. But in case you are, that's good. Now I could see your handsome face completely and that pretty kippah you have. Okay, so now let's go with the Ellie. What's the name? Dumb. Amazing. Let us put it up on, let's put it up on the screen. The first one is called, how do we spell it? What's the first letter? Yes, Ariella? Daled. And we have a nikud under that, no? Let's see what the nikud is. Let's see if I can put it in. Oh, no. That's the wrong thing. That's a 7. I don't want that. How about this one? Let's see if I can get it. Nope, that's also the wrong thing. All right, I'll have to figure out how to do that. Anyway, what's the next letter? What's the next letter? Ellie?
Oh, no, don't put it in my face.
No? We lost somebody here. Somebody got, okay, Ellie, did you have the answer or not? No? It is? Tell me what it is. Mem Sophis. Amazing. Let me get that. Hey, what's going on here? Oh, I know what happened. Okay, Mem Sophis. Where are you, Mem Sophis? Ay, ay, ay. Oh, that's the problem. Okay, now we're going to get it. Mem Sophis is, why is it giving me trouble to put a Mem Sophis on here? It should work. Let's try one more time. That's it. Dam. Okay. Dam is blood. Now, we know what happened. Moshe goes to Paro and says, Paro, you got to let the Jewish people go. But what does Hashem say? Hashem says, who is God? Who is this God you're talking about? Who is this Hashem that I should listen to? So Moshe's got, and Hashem has got a lot of choices here. Now, let me think for a minute. Let's think. Let's pretend for a minute you're Hashem, okay? I know that's a hard thing to pretend, but pretend you're Hashem, and you want the Jewish people to get out of Egypt, right? Do you have to send 10 MAKOS to get them out? Why don't you just kill all the Egyptians in one day and the Jews walk right out? I mean, you're God, right? If you're God, you can do anything you want, right? So you want the Jews to go. Moshe says, listen, Paro, let the Jewish people go. And if you let them go, fine. If not, Hashem's going to strangle all of you. You're going to go, and die. And the Jews walk out. Why are we going to go through this long, it took almost a year of 10 MAKOS? Why didn't Hashem just do it right away? Does everybody understand my question? I mean, we all know there's 10 plagues, but we have to try to understand, why is Hashem doing it this way? Why couldn't Hashem can do anything, right? So just kill all the Egyptians. I mean, he's going to do it anyway to them. But he's just drawing it out? Yes, Atlas children. What's the answer?
Is it because it was Mida connected Mida because they did?
Oh, wow, you're smart. There's something called Mida Keneged Mida. In English means measure for measure. It means that sometimes Hashem, when you do something bad, Hashem has to make you know how bad what you did was. You know, let's say, for example, let's say in your house, I know none of you would ever do this. Let's say your mother makes you a nice piece of dessert, a really good piece of dessert. And you know what you do with it? You throw it on the floor. That means you don't appreciate what food's about. So you know what your mom, your daddy might do? The next time there's dessert, they're going to say, I'm sorry, I can't give you any dessert today because you don't know to appreciate dessert. And they go, oh, please, can I have it? Can I have it? I'm really hungry today. Today, I really want dessert. No, not today. I'm sorry. You got to understand that it's a privilege to get dessert. And you throw dessert away. You're not mature enough to have dessert, maybe next time. And then you learn your lesson, right? So that's called measure for measure. So that's a really good answer. So what we're going to have to figure out is, what is the measure for measure? Why does Hashem punish them with blood? That's one thing we're going to talk about. But another answer is, that was a great answer. There's another answer that's also great. It's like 3 or 4 great answers. Does anybody know a different reason why Hashem doesn't?
Can you repeat the question?
What?
Could you repeat the question?
Why didn't Hashem just kill the Egyptians in one shot and let the Jews leave instead of 10 MAKOS? It took such a long time. At the end of the day, he knocks them all out anyway. Okay, Eitan, what do you think? Let's be unmuted. Eitan, what do you think?
Because if you just torture them in one day, they take worse than that, so they get in, rather make it longer and then have way more trouble, because that makes them die like from way more. It's way worse. So it's like torture.
So am I understanding it? Hashem wants them to suffer more?
Yeah.
Okay, that's true, because they made the Jews suffer more. That's a good answer. There's still another answer. They're all good answers. Okay, Ariella and Adina, what do you think?
He wanted to give them a chance to do
Well, I
teshuva.
only could hear one of you. So what do you want to say?
Give them a chance to do teshuva.
Okay, he wanted them to get a chance to do teshuva. You know, Hashem warned somebody, you know, before he lets them have it. That's an excellent answer. And there's still another good answer. You guys are so smart. You're figuring out all the good answers. But the Torah is so big, you know, there's so many answers. Anybody know another answer? Okay, let me tell you a new answer that you don't know. The answer is, remember, Paro says, I don't agree that there's a God. I don't believe there's a God. And you know what? It could have been some of the Jews who may not have believed there's a God, because they said, if there was a Hashem, why is he letting us suffer like this? If Hashem is fair and kind, why is he letting us suffer? So Hashem has to teach. The point of the 10 MAKOS is to teach everybody exactly who and what God is and what he can do. And this is why Hashem is going to teach us 10 lessons. You know what the MAKOS are? It's like 10 special classes where Hashem's going to teach us exactly who he is and what he does and what he cares about. That's what the MAKOS are all about. So now let's take a look at that first MAKA. And the first one is blood. Blood. Now, let's try to figure out, let's see where my next chart is over here. There it is. Okay, the first MAKA is Dam. Why does Hashem start with blood? Now, he could have started with a lot of other ones. Why does he start with blood? Now, remember, we talked about measure for measure. We taught them, want to teach them about Hashem, want to make them suffer. So what do you think is the reason why Hashem made them suffer with blood? Okay, Eitan is giving it a try.
Because blood, if you think about all the MAKOS, blood to me is like the least, least worst MAKA. So he wants to do it, he wants to get him worse and worse and worse. So he starts with little, and then the frogs, and then all the other ones.
Okay, excellent. That's a very good answer. We're going to come to the Atlas kids in a minute. So let me take your answer and just show it in a way like to imagine if you're a general fighting a war. Now, you're fighting the war. At the end, you want to destroy your enemy, right? But you got to start off slow. So let's see what happens. Let's take a look and see how this works. When laying siege to a city, you know what it means to lay a siege? When you surround them, you don't let anything in or out. When laying siege to a city, the general first destroys their water supply, right? That's the first thing you do. They're getting water from outside the city with wells. Now, you don't fight them right away because the people are strong, right? So what do? You slowly make them weaker. So what do? You cut off the water supply. You understand? If you don't have any water, it's going to be hard. So what did Hashem do? Hashem turned all the water in Egypt to blood. Now, what's the measure for measure? The measure for measure is what terrible Avera did. Now remember, where did this MAKA start? This MAKA started, Aaron went over to the Nile River. He took his stick. He hit the Nile River and it all turned into blood. Not only did the Nile River turn into blood, any water source in the entire Egypt turned into blood. Water that was in your refrigerator already turned into blood. If you cut an orange and you squeezed it and you wanted orange juice, it was blood juice. Everything was blood. You dug into the ground and dug a new well. It was blood. It was blood everywhere. Now, why? What was the punishment measure for measure? What did the Egyptians do so bad with the Nile River and with water? Yes, Atlas kids.
The Egyptians used to bathe in the baby's blood.
Yes, one of them, remember we said that Paro took the children's blood and bathed in it. So now Hashem says, you want so much blood? Go ahead, drink it. That's good. There's another answer. What is another answer? There's another answer. Does anybody know the other answer? What's Hashem punishing them for? What did they do with the Nile River that was so bad? Remember we talked about last week? Let's see. Eitan?
Because Para used to think he's God. I used to not go to the bathroom. So every morning he used to sneak in the Nile to go to the bathroom.
That's right. That's also true. He fooled everyone to think he's a god. Now, one thing you know, a god doesn't have to go to the bathroom, right? So he'd be all day long and say, listen, this guy never goes to the bathroom. You know what he'd do? He'd go really early in the morning when everybody's asleep. He'd go to the bathroom in the Nile, and then the whole day long, he wouldn't go to the bathroom. They think he's a god. That's amazing. But one more point we have to add. You're raising Hillel's hand. Does Hillel have something to say?
It's Eitan.
Oh, that's Eitan. Oh, go ahead. What is Eitan going to say?
Because they throwing the babies in the river.
Yes, they were throwing the babies in the river. That's right. In the river, they threw babies. They killed babies and bathed in their blood. So Hashem, now remember, the Nile is the whole supply of the water. Without the Nile River, you have no water. The Nile River would overflow and water would be everywhere. Hashem said, I'm going to cut down your water. Now, of course, we all know something very special. What happened when a Jew would go to the Nile River and take a bucket of blood? What happened, Ariella?
And it would turn to water.
Turn into water. What if the Jew was having a glass of water and the Egyptian ripped it out of his hands? What happened to that glass of water? Yes, Atlas kids?
It would turn into blood.
It would turn into blood. Turn into blood. This is incredible. Can you imagine? The Egyptian owner, he has this Jewish slave. He says, what do you got there? I have a glass of water. Give me that glass of water. I'm going to drink this water. What happened? What did you do to the water? I didn't do anything to the water. What do you want from me? Here, take your blood back. Jew takes the thing back and drinks it up. What are you doing? You're drinking blood. I'm not drinking blood. It's water. What are you talking about? Give me that thing back. It's blood. What are you talking? Then the Egyptians got smart. They say, okay, wait a minute. Okay, let's take a glass. Okay, you got a glass of water, Mr. Jewish boy? Yeah, okay. Now, let's take this glass. Let's pretend this is the glass, okay? Now, the Egyptian says, okay, at the count of 3, you're going to drink and I'm going to drink at the same time, okay? 1, 2, 3. Ready? Go. And the Jew goes, What's going on? At the same time? At the same time, they're drinking from the same cup. And the Jew is drinking water, and the Egyptian is drinking blood. Whoa. So what do you see? What do you see from all of this? You see some exciting things over here. Now, you want to know one more lesson, and this is an amazing lesson. You see the word dam? You see that word dam, eh? Now, what if I would take another letter and put an aleph in front of it? What does it say? Yeah, Ellie, what does it say? Adam. Yoni, what is an Adam?
Man.
A man. Isn't it interesting that the word Adam has the word dam in it? Did you ever notice that, guys? Adam, a man. You know why? Because a man or a woman, a person, has blood inside of them. Now, think about this. What happens if we take the aleph, and take it away? What happens? You got blood?
That's so cool.
Now, let me ask you something. Do you know anything about the letter aleph?
I already know that.
What does the aleph stand for? When you see an aleph by itself, what are you supposed to be thinking? Aleph, number 1. Yes, Atlas kids. What are you supposed to be thinking? Unmute. Unmute.
The alphabet.
It's the first letter of the alphabet, that's for sure. But what's the deeper meaning of an aleph? When you see an aleph is number 1, the first. What is that a hint to? Whenever you see an aleph, it's hinting to something to you. Do you know what the hint is? The hint is to Hashem. Because Hashem is the first. Hashem came before anything. Whenever you see an aleph also is the word aleph. Aleph aluf means a strong, powerful king. Aleph is always Hashem. Hashem is always the first. If you guys knew Gematrias, I would play all interesting games with you. I don't know if any of you know what Gematria is, but if you do, maybe tomorrow I'll play an interesting game with you. But you know what Hashem is teaching them? One last thing. You know, an Adam, a person, is made up of two parts. Uh-oh, what's going on? What's going on with the Aleph? Oh, it's moving away. And all I got left is Dam. But I could bring it back. Couldn't I bring it back? I could bring it back slowly. Oh no, it's all jumping around here. What's happening here? But I could, where's my, get it closer. The Aleph is a sign of Hashem. Hashem is holy. You know what Hashem puts into every person? A neshama, a soul. You know what? If a person is smart and he knows there's a bit of Hashem inside of him, then he is an Adam. He's a person who's the way Hashem wants him to be. But if you forget about Hashem, then all you are is dumb, blood. And that's all you are. Do you hear? When you take away the Aleph, when you take away Hashem, all you are is blood. And you know what? Even in English, you're dumb. You're not so smart. That's a joke. You're dumb. You're not smart. If you don't know that there's Hashem inside of you, you're dumb. And that's what blood is. So Hashem is saying, Paro, you said, I don't know about God, right? Who's this God? I don't know anything about God. Hashem says, you don't know anything about God. You don't know anything about the Aleph of Hashem. You don't know anything about the Aleph of Hashem inside of you. Well, then, my friend, if you don't know about the Aleph of Hashem, then you're just dumb. And all you have is blood. And that's what he's saying. You only have blood. So what do you see? Let's review the first Makkah. The first Makkah, everybody call out the answers together now. The first Makkah in Hebrew is called? Dam. And why did Hashem do this measure for measure? Because they threw the babies in the Nile. And it's because he bathed in their blood. And when a general attacks, what does he do first? He cuts off the water supply. Okay, we're going to leave you with a question. I want you to think of the answer for tomorrow. Who started this Makkah with this thing? It was Aaron, yes? The question is, why wasn't it Moshe? We'll talk about it tomorrow. Remember, tell your parents which sheet you want me to send you. Tell your parents the Shabbos treats are for those ready to pick it up. Tomorrow, we're going to start right at 12 o'clock till 12:30. If you missed the class, it's on YouTube. And you can always listen to the YouTube. Okay, everybody can unmute and say, Sarayim Tov, good afternoon, or whatever else you'd like to say. Yes, dear.
I sent you the email that you could email us at.
So that's amazing. So I will, Amir Hashem, do that. I will take care of that. Now, let's see. Let's stop the share and let's stop the recording.